Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I am pleased to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We look forward to supporting your professional growth in the hospitality industry. So, in today's explainer, we're diving deep into the absolute beast that is the group booking lifecycle. We're talking about orchestrating that flawless stay for an international conference, a massive high society wedding, or even an elite sports team. It takes a level of precision that goes way, way beyond standard operations. We're going to look at some ultra-realistic, practical knowledge straight from the front lines of real hotel operations. So let's jump right in, shall we? Here's our game plan for this masterclass. We'll kick things off with a group advantage, then map out the strategic booking lifecycle. After that, we'll look at the interdepartmental symphony, dig into the blueprint and VIP tailoring, and wrap it all up with post-stay logistics. All right, Section 1, the group advantage. To really grasp modern hotel operations, you've got to understand the sheer financial weight and the operational importance that group bookings bring to the table. Think about the basic rhythm of any large luxury hotel. On one hand, you have your individual travelers, right? They provide that day-to-day pulse, the familiar hum of the lobby. But then, on the other hand, you have group business. And wow, group business brings in the massive financial volume. It's incredibly sought after because it establishes something we call base occupancy. Basically, this means a huge chunk of the hotel's rooms are sold and totally secured months in advance. That gives revenue managers the solid foundation they absolutely need to optimize pricing for all the remaining rooms. Okay, let's talk about the magic number here, 10. At the Europe Hotel School London, 10 is the exact threshold we use to define a group. We aren't just talking about a family booking 2 or 3 rooms. A group reservation is a highly complex logistical operation involving 10 or more rooms, all booked together under a single contract. And the moment you hit that number 10, well, the operational requirements completely shift gears. But here's the catch. With that great financial volume comes some pretty extraordinary operational risk. Think about it. A single error in a group booking doesn't just annoy one guest. It scales, and it scales fast. A missed detail could mean 50 dissatisfied guests all experiencing the exact same failure at the exact same time. And poor logistics at that kind of scale, that can literally tank a hotel's reputation in a matter of minutes. Moving on to Section 2, Strategic Booking Lifecycle. Now that we know what's at stake, let's look at how this pipeline actually gets built. Because long before anyone sets foot in the lobby, there's a meticulous process of evaluation and negotiation happening behind the scenes. Let's walk through the exact steps our sales and reservations teams take to lock in a group. Step 1 is the feasibility check. The agent has to scrutinize the availability chart. The goal, make sure we can actually fit the group without kicking out our regular, high-value corporate guests. You don't want to lose your regulars, right? Then comes Step 2, the group quotation. Group rates are a whole different ballgame from standard rates. They're negotiated based on volume, the season, and, this is key, ancillary spend, like big banquet meals or renting out meeting spaces. Finally, Step 3. Once everyone agrees, a formal contract gets signed and we create the room block. This literally pulls those specific rooms right out of the general public inventory. So how do we manage all this digitally? Enter the master group code. You can think of this as a sort of digital umbrella inside your property management system, or PMS. It shields that specific room inventory so the public can't book it. It meticulously tracks every single charge linked to the group so billing is perfectly accurate, and it makes sure the group actually stays close together on the same floors whenever possible. It's really the foundational tool that keeps everything organized. Which brings us to Section 3, Interdepartmental Symphony. Because once that block is secured, it's game time. We move straight into the execution phase, where the reservation agent basically transforms into an information architect, building and sharing a comprehensive group resume with the rest of the hotel. Make no mistake, managing a group is the ultimate team sport. One single event activates the entire property. Sales and revenue? They have to keep a close eye on cutoff dates. If a group hasn't filled its block by a certain deadline, they've got to make the tough call on whether to release those rooms back to the public. Meanwhile, the front office uses the group data to gear up for mass check-ins. If 50 people are showing up at the exact same time, they'll prep pre-keyed envelopes. That way, guests get their keys in seconds, totally bypassing a massive queue at the desk. Then you have housekeeping. If a tour bus rolls in at 2 p.m., all 50 rooms in that block must be spotless and fully inspected exactly at 2 p.m., no exceptions. And let's not forget food and beverage. They rely on this info for mass seating and dietary needs. If 30 vegetarians are arriving on Tuesday, the F&B manager absolutely needs to know that weeks in advance to prepare. All right, Section 4, Blueprint and VIP tailoring. We're zooming in now. We're moving from the macro, whole hotel view right down into the granular details of the specific people actually staying with us. Without a doubt, the most critical document in this entire puzzle is the rooming list. The group organizer hands this over, and it's basically the master blueprint for the stay. It spells out every single individual guest, who is sharing a room with who, and their exact arrival and departure times. The reservation agent has to painstakingly plug all this into the PMS, individualizing the records under that master code we talked about earlier. This is absolutely vital, because it makes sure the number of names perfectly matches the number of blocked rooms. Doing this right prevents a total nightmare, a room shortage crisis, on the very day they arrive. And getting this right requires some serious situational awareness. Inside every group, there are subcategories. A corporate booking might have a CEO who obviously needs a luxury suite, whereas a wedding party might have elderly guests who really need to be placed right next to the elevator. A truly high-performing agent spots these needs. They prioritize the key VIPs and confirm all those special requests. Things like making sure they have the right bed types or getting hypoallergenic pillows into the room before they even check in. At Europe Hotel School London, we always say success is in the details. When an organizer walks in and sees that all their meticulous requests have already been handled, boom, you've just built a massive amount of professional trust. Finally, Section 5, Post-Stay Logistics. Now, a really common misconception is that the job is done the second the guests walk out the front door. But in high-level hospitality, the departure is really just the start of the next cycle. Let's quickly map out what happens after they leave. On checkout day, the group departs. The very next day, day 1 post-stay, the team jumps into a post-stay audit and analyzes something called a pickup report. This is crucial. It compares how many rooms were actually used against how many were originally blocked. That data is pure gold for future contract negotiations. Then, by week 1 post-stay, we do a professional follow-up to gather feedback. And why do we do all this? Because it all leads up to the ultimate goal, securing their repeat business for next year. Sending a personalized thank you email to the organizer and genuinely listening to their feedback, that's not just about being polite. It's a calculated, strategic move. Maintaining that positive relationship shows the organizer that the hotel truly values their business. If the reservation department executes this entire life cycle with excellence, they essentially lock in the foundation for that group to come back year after year. And that is how you ensure long-term profitability. So we've covered the financial advantages, the strategic booking pipeline, the interdepartmental teamwork, and those all-important post-stay logistics, which leaves me with a final question for you to think about as you move forward in your career. When an elite organizer walks up and hands you a 50-person VIP rooming list with incredibly intricate requests and incredibly high stakes, will you be ready to orchestrate a flawless hospitality symphony? Thank you so much for joining this explainer. Keep learning, keep refining those skills, and I'll catch you in the next one.